it's hard to take away that experience of having seen a world that's much larger and simultaneously much smaller than you imagine, right? And
Yeah.
seeing, our young men be able to go to England or go to South Africa and see young people look just like them or different from them, but have shared experiences, or seeing them, wearing the same jeans and Jordan Bread 11s and had the same waves in their hair, but speaking entirely different and
Yeah.
in entirely different modes. There's so much that I think helps them understand this interconnectedness. That part is really exciting.
What's up, everybody? Selvin from Inquire Higher with another episode of the Black Success Podcast. Again, it's brought to you by Inquire Higher, where we promote and support the success of Black students and professionals through multimedia. So I'm super excited for our guest today, who is one of the founders and executive director of the Hidden Genius Project, which is an Oakland-based nonprofit that is set to train and mentor Black youth through technology creation, as well as entrepreneurship and leadership to change the lives of themselves as well as the ones in their community. So we're going to talk to him about the organization, what they have going on, and as well as his personal story as far as how he got the organization to come together. So Dr. Brandon Nicholson, welcome. How you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you. Great to be here. Great to have a conversation, and definitely here representing the Hidden Genius Project team. Certainly one person, but it's definitely been a collaborative effort to get us to this point. So happy to talk through that and share my own experience. But I'll definitely be carrying everybody else with me.
No, absolutely, and we love to hear that it's a collaborative effort. So thank you for highlighting that. So if you're familiar with our show, we're going to start how we always do by asking, who is Dr. Brandon Nicholson?
Yes, I mean that's a big one. I'm a Oakland native, a native of Oakland, California. Father of one and husband to another. To my wife Rachel, and got my son Nico. Executive director of the Hidden Genius Project. We train and mentor Black male youth in technology creation, entrepreneurship, and leadership skills to transform their lives and communities. I think someone who is hopeful, and I'm trying to keep pushing myself to dream big and be bold. Lifelong practicing Buddhist, and someone who tries every day to focus on myself and get a little bit better every day, and start from within to manifest and project what I need to see from without, so to speak. And yes, just I think just a Black man in America trying to make it, doing my best, trying to figure everything out along with everyone else.
Yeah, no, well, you're definitely doing more than your best, knowing, all of the achievements that the organization has had. First want to start off by congratulating you for making 10 years in what you do and all of the lives that you've impacted. And, you've definitely spread your wings as far as the organization's concerned, getting into different cohorts with different kids. I know it, started with the kids in Oakland, managed to expand to LA and Richmond, and now moving towards the Midwest as well. You have the location in Detroit opening, and then upcoming soon. Looks like you're going to be coming around our neighborhood in Chicago. So I mean, what does that mean to you to have started? Where you're from, and have expanded across the West Coast and now moving into the Midwest. Being able to share this philosophy, this initiative with other Black youth and those who really support the mission. How does it feel to be able to expand this far and have that, especially having that upcoming opening?
Absolutely. And yeah, so we've already been able to launch in Detroit. They've gone through their first cohorts, summer period. We have an intensive immersion program, which is the core programming at each of the sites that we operate. And it's a 15-month commitment for Black boys and young men in high school. And again, cohort-based model where they spend nearly 800 hours learning the fundamentals of computer science, technology development, business entrepreneurship, etc. It's a youth development program first and foremost, really pouring into our Black boys and young men, trying to support them and grow with them, and elevate their potential as leaders. so they can pursue their dreams. And then along the way, hopefully they can develop some skills and networks that can help them get there. Um, so when we think about, what it's been like, even, being in Detroit this year, and, we had taken a few years, just because there wasn't a whole lot going on since 2020 to get a
Mhm.
retool and shift some things. But, we were very fortunate to stay operating and even launch sites, virtually, especially in Los Angeles, which started, March 2020. And so found ourselves this year in 2022 coming back to in-person programming, and visiting each of these communities, and even earlier in October had our first Detroit end of summer celebration in person. Los Angeles had its uh, third cohort go through an end of summer celebration, but had its first one in person. And these are showcases, and celebrations for our young people, for our geniuses, as we call them, for them to demonstrate their work, share their experience, talk about what the program has meant to them. So being able to go to those and just drink it all in, so to speak, was unbelievable. It's a great privilege, and just so proud of these young people. It's also just been fascinating to see how much common energy there is among these young men. They're from different places, they have different experiences, even within a given cohort. It's not a heterogeneous group. You have folks coming from different backgrounds, experiences, levels of access to resources, etc. But that idea of building that fellowship, building that love for each other, hopefully love for themselves first and foremost,
Mhm.
and then trying to inspire them to just keep dreaming and leading. You're seeing it happen, everywhere we go. And so when we think about what it means to be able to keep growing, we aren't on a pathway towards manifest destiny. We're not trying to, expand and conquer the world. We really want to be joining arms with folks that are committed to doing work and creating opportunities for our young people, for our communities, and I want to just keep making them even more robust and even richer, right? We have to always be thinking about how do we work together. We haven't done anything of any worth or significance on our own. We've had to learn to build together and share together, and then hopefully expand together, and take our friends and our cousins with us, and also just keep a mindset that really butts up against this concept of scarcity, and this concept of fabricated competition, because at the end of the day, we're out here in a world of robust resources, be they within our communities and in our homes and neighborhoods, be they outside of our communities, be they bridging different geographies, and we can't be here sniping over a little bit of something when we could get a whole lot of something together. So I think that's been really important part of our growth.
That's what's up, and I think, and particularly, being in the Chicagoland area, I know that's, you see, and probably in a lot of those other neighborhoods where, where it seemed like those resources are scarce, or at least, you don't have organizations who are, able to kind of penetrate those mindsets and be able to kind of show a different way of doing things. That's got to be one of those things that I could see that, could really, positively impact by showing that, there is a different way to do things, especially if you're doing so in the light of STEM.
Yeah.
And in light of that, some of the, the interviews that some of your geniuses have done, just to kind of talk about how the program has impacted them, a lot of them are just having these aha moments, these realizations that, oh, I can do this, or, I didn't know that I, could, take this, this concept that maybe I just learned growing up and apply that to STEM, or apply that to computer science. What has been, some of the most impactful things that you've seen with the geniuses, as far as these like aha moments, and then they now
Yeah.
see that the world has opened up.
Yes, well, I think the first thing is, as a great way to describe it, aha moment, just in the sense of it can take time. And we, each of us hits our realizations at different points in time. And I think many of us still continue to hit realizations. I find myself having aha moments for myself, every other week, and just trying to understand what's supposed to be happening, what I'm supposed to be doing, and how I'm supposed to be doing it. With our young people, we find that a lot of that happens actually as they become alumni. So they come to us as high school students, rising ninth through rising 11th graders. And that means as alumni, just about all of them are still high school students once they complete their 15-month commitment. So we're still supporting them towards high school completion and thinking about the next step. And a lot of times it'll be, in month 18 or even a year after they complete or whatever it is, or even more, where they're like, oh man, did you ever know? I was thinking, and did you know XYZ? And we'll say, hey, Selvin, we taught you that 2 years ago. And they'll be like, oh yeah, you sure did. Or they'd be like, oh man, I was thinking about what y'all said before. Now I think I get it. Or can we do ABC or 1, 2, 3? And so that's cool. The biggest and most rewarding thing is to see their wheels keep turning, see themselves start to recognize the potential they have and start to chart different paths for themselves. I think we've seen that manifest in a number of ways. Of course, we've been able to collaborate and deliver programs overseas, which means when we deliver programs, we call them usually catalyst programs or events meant to catalyze interest in the technology, business, entrepreneurship, and everything in between space. And when we're doing those events and we're doing these partnerships, it's usually our alumni who are facilitating. So we have this built-in youth leadership component. And so when we travel, it's the same. We're still taking young people with us, overseas, and putting them in a position to still lead. And so when they're able to see more of the world, and in some instances and I would say in most of the instances we're actually getting them their passports, and that's there are technically different ways you can lose your passport, but if you can kind of play it cool or just keep it on the up and up, it's hard to take away that experience of having seen a world that's much larger and simultaneously much smaller than you imagine, right? And
Yeah.
seeing our young men be able to go to England or go to South Africa and see young people look just like them or different from them, but have shared experiences, or, seeing them, wearing the same jeans and Jordan Bread 11s and the same waves in their hair, but speaking entirely different and
Yeah.
in entirely different modes. There's so much that I think helps them understand this, connectedness piece, right? This interconnectedness. And that part is really exciting.